So we're rolling with Mitrione here on the way to Lafayette, and he's telling me crazy concert stories. So, all right, go ahead. Keep going. Let these fans know a little something.
All right. So like, I got a handful of pretty tripped out concert stories. So I'm a big psychedelic, right? Like I like the Dead, Fish, Widespread, String Cheese. You know, I'm a big fan of jam bands, and it was a friend, I wasn't in the car for this, but a friend of mine was going to a Fish show at Champaign, University of Illinois, and I'm sure you can imagine the mindset that they were in driving up there from Springfield, Illinois, which is like an hour and away. It's like 72 miles away, something like that. So anyways, they're driving, and he used to drive a station wagon, and the car was loaded up full of people. And you know, they got their minds right for the show and everything else. And there's this giant semi that's about, I don't know, maybe 70 yards ahead of them, something like that. And somehow, I have no idea how it happened, but a tire off the truck, they was carrying like giant tractor tires. And somehow one of the tires came loose and started bouncing down the road. So if you can imagine being in that mindset for this thing, and all of a sudden, like, you're seeing this giant tire hit his car, rolled over the top, right? They're like,
dude, did that just happen?
Yo, dude, like, come on, guy. So totally, like, completely threw them off, right? And then, so when they got out of the car, we were all at the show. And when they got out of the car, they're like, dude, you won't believe what just happened, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, dude, no way. And it's like, look at my car. I know it was this giant tire tractor tread sitting over from his hood, like, through the middle of his car. Absolutely nuts, dude. Such a trip, man. So that's one of them. And then there's another one where we went and saw the Beach Boys when I was in high school. And I used to work at I went to London. I had a girlfriend in high school at the time, and I didn't understand calling cards, international calls, and how expensive they got. And so so my father made me work off that debt. So I was working at the fairgrounds to help pay that debt off. Anyhow, the Beach Boys came, and we had my mother and father had a conversion van, and we fit 24 people in this conversion van driving in there because if you work there, you didn't have to pay for parking. So we fit 24 people inside of this van, and we're just mashing it. Yeah, we had a case of people inside of the joint.
Did you go see the Beach Boys?
Oh, dude, to see the Beach Boys, it was madness. And then we saw.
They play Kokomo.
They did. They went hard. They did. And then we saw. What do you call it? We saw Stone Temple Pilots there too, way before Scott Weiland was a complete degenerate. Well, he might have been, but he was so functional degenerate. And then
that's important.
Yeah, that's the big part, because everybody's a degenerate in their own way, right?
Right.
And then there was another one. I was going to tell you another show that I went to. Oh, so I was at Summer Sanitarium when Metallica was putting it on, and Limp Bizkit was opening for them. And dude, it was in New York. It was in Giant Stadium in New York. And me and Jeremy Shackey were in there just raising hell in the pit, just running, just getting crazy. It was like one of the most fun experiences I've ever had in my entire life, ever. And as a matter of fact, there's a band, I learned how to mosh from a band called Nihilate, N-I-L-8, and they have a song called Green Eggs and Ham. So if you want to hear a song that's kind of tripped out, that'll make you kind of, Green Eggs and Ham by Nihilate. It goes hard.
Hey, since you just brought up football, what's that story now the three haircuts in one day story? Come on, man.
How'd you know about that story?
When I was up for Fight Magazine, remember Tina told me, and you gave her that look, dude. You're like, come on, tell it, man. Come on.
All right. So have you ever seen the picture that's on the interwebs of me in my San Francisco 49er jersey? You ever seen that?
Yeah.
All right, with awesome, glorious hair.
Right.
All right. So Tina came to visit, and I was like, I was like letting my long, golden, curly locks flow, and she was like, "Dude, your hair looks like hell. Like, you need to do something with your hair." And I was like, "All right, fine, whatever, man." I was like, "I'll go get it cut." And like the dude who cut it, like literally just took a pair of scissors and cut straight across. It was like a bob haircut. It was so bad, and I was devastated because I loved my long hair. I had no idea that I looked as sexy as I did, but I definitely had a bob haircut. And like I said, I was really upset by it. And so what we did was, once I got done, I was devastated. So then Tina was like, "Look, not a big deal. We'll go to the same place and we'll have them cut it and fix it, right? And I was like, all right, cool, all right, just handle it. You're a girl. I don't know how to do my hair like a dude, so just handle it. She's like, okay. So she told them what she wanted, right? Well, then they went through and they started like styling my hair, and they styled it like it was like a Julius Caesar haircut, like how you'd imagine, like they brushed it straight. It's curly. My hair gets really curly, so like they brushed it straight and blow dried it out, and so the end of it was curling either down or up. I can't remember which one, but it was all going forwards, like around my head, like a bowl with like the hair that curled around the bowl. It was such a bad haircut. I was devastated, and all she could do was just laugh and laugh. Was like, and like she laughed for probably 20 minutes, so much so, and my self-esteem was so in the gutter. I went to like, and that was like 2 stops at like Supercuts or something like that, you know. So it's like, and she's like, that's what you get for going to a cheap place and getting your hair cut by people that don't know what they're doing. And so then I went into like a $70 person to like, hey, just give me a fade, man. Just give me a fade. And I'll tell you what, that's actually not the worst story I've got about getting a haircut. That was my long golden locks. There was a time I was in Vegas, this is like 2 years ago, and there was an expo. There was a UFC expo that day. And I went in there, I stopped in Supercuts. I don't know why I did it. I stopped in Supercuts and I was like, hey man, just give me a fade. I was like, my hair's a little bit longer. Well, obviously it was a lot shorter than this. I was like, it's a little bit long. I was like, just give me a fade, man. The person who cut my hair was very memorable, and I'll tell you why after we turn this off. But I was like, oh, I was like, oh, for sure, he'll be really slick at cutting hair. Like, this dude knows how to cut a fade for sure, no doubt about it. Like aesthetically, like no matter how this dude is dressed, like this dude's got to figure it out. He knows how to do this. So I'm like, hey man, can I get a fade? Yeah, sure. Worst fade I've ever gotten in my entire life. Worst fade. Like, they started my fade like this much above my hairline. I mean, like, they had no clue what they were doing. It was a horrible fade, and I was like, that's horrible. Like, I can't. I've got a TV. I've got an expo. I can't do this right now, man. You can't screw this haircut up. You just fix it. And they're like, what are you talking about? That's a great fade. And I was like, absolutely not. The fact that you defend this fade, I don't even know how to handle this right now. And then so like the manager came over, and the manager was like, well, let me see if I can fix it. And then was doing the exact same fade as a dude was, right? And I was like, I was so upset. I was like, you know what, just, and she's like, well, sir, you have a knot in the back of your head. Like, you know that bump that everybody's got, like that little grip, you know, like the one your dad slaps on the back of when you're bad? She's like, they couldn't figure out how to get over that little knot in the back of your head. Like, they don't figure out, like, you fade above it, right? Like, you fade here and then you fade above it here, you know? They couldn't figure that out at all. And I didn't want to tell them how to cut a fade, because that's not my job to tell them how to cut a fade. I was like, you know what, just shave my head. Just shave all my hair off. And she's like, what, sir? No way. And I was like, shave my head. I was so upset. I was late for the expo, so they just shaved my head, and I went into the expo with a bald head.
And you fought with this. Is that why you had your hair shaved when you fought?
Maybe. I don't know. I might have fought that weekend. I don't think so. I think I was just there like for an appearance. But dude, I've had so many bad haircut days. When I was a kid, my brother and I thought it was a great idea to shave an M in the back of my head with a razor, right, with like a clipper. So my brother shaved an M in the back of my head, but didn't leave. Didn't leave an M. Like, shaved the M bald. So like I had hair and then the M. So it did not look right at all. It did not look good. And when my mom got home, she was like, that's unacceptable. Completely unacceptable. You will not do that. So then she just took she just put her hand on top of my head like this and just shaved all my hair except for what was on the top. Oh no. Yeah, so I actually have a picture. It was like my high school pictures for some reason. I've actually got a picture of what that haircut was.
Is that like how Kramer had his haircut at Seinfeld?
I'm sure it could have been. I mean, it was just a brutal haircut. Absolutely brutal. And then like I was so young and dumb, I had no clue. I was like, yeah, it's my new haircut. Like, and then like, you know, whatever. It was just disaster. There was something else too I did. Oh, when I was in high school, I had my numbers shaved in my head too. I was a complete, I was that guy.
But now you got this beautiful, delicious, nutritious.
Look at it. Look how it just flails around. Like,
I know. It's got body and spirit.
You see that thing, man? I mean, look at it. That's you can't mess with perfection. And that day, God was like, "Hey, I got you."
Even through all the ups and downs. Look where you're still standing, buddy.
That's right. That's right. He's like, look, you know what else? I'm for everything that I've ever done remarkably stupid in my life, for me still to have a full head of hair, like that hasn't fallen out because I've gotten cancer from eating too many red M&Ms or whatever, I'm shocked. Shocked. Knock on wood for that, by the way.